How's it going, everyone? Welcome. Valerio Gonzalez here again. Today, we're going to talk about is the enterprise UI development, a very sensitive topic, especially in terms of security. And we're going to dive deep into this specific topic that is very relevant for not only UI development, but for security, the IT security team in itself. So as a UI development, we need to also have a word about what are the auditings or the policies that now company are based upon their decision in terms of if this software is trustworthy by by being compliant with all of these policies and regulations, especially for example the Association Institute of Certified Public Accountant, this SOC, right? And while being compliant, also provide now a security layer, make all of these systems secure as much as human possible. So I'm going to now jump straight forward into that topic, because this is something that despite that is a quite tangent of how do we maintain these large code bases over a long period of time with a wide range of contributors in large teams, where we need to define is what maintainability is, that we can have the ability of add, change, migrate, or update dependency in software, all right? And the way to do that is based on that and based on the code base needs, which means that first we need to define is this pyramid of Maslow, pyramid of needs. So what are the things that we need to put in place as a way to now achieve this goal, make this code maintainable, right? So that's why first we will look at this particular diagram, where first we need to put things in place like a testing system, the build system, as well as the static analysis, and then also how we need to separate is or to set up the process or the know-how when it comes to do code reviews, or what are the way of how we're going to integrate code to our application, the design principle, the design documents, as well as the blueprints. So when we are now in the field, so what are those recurring problems that happens and how we can come up with some solutions. This design pattern, such as the architecture or the infrastructure, right? The architecture, most likely the architecture. For example, how we're going to organize our application when we need to make our code maintainable. How is the project folder, the folder? What is the project folder structure on testing, as well as what are the abstractions or modularization that we can do as a way to make everything easy to test. So what are those kind of abstractions? And when it comes to manage the state of a UI, is that how can we now is rely on a particular pattern, this state management pattern, right? So that's why we look also at this component of a well architecture UI, all right, which the idea here is that you have your testing system, testing infrastructure, the build infrastructure, the static analysis, and also you now separate, in terms of the UI, you separate the business logic with the UI logic. Where are you going to deploy this? Are you going to use a CDN or not? As well as what are the design principles? How are we going to integrate our code for that, right? What are the design process for that, as well as the convention that we're gonna use. So all of this is something interesting, and as a way to make this quick recap, to actually look at what we really care about, which is the security, as well as the authentication and authorization for big companies. So here we look at the testing system first, the spectrum of doing this testing, like unit, component testing, integration, and end-to-end. We dive deep. Our attention is on unit testing first, and then we're gonna down the line do the other things. But on the unit test, we look at what are the end goal of this, some of the jargon used, like test, assertion, and test suites. How can we write our tests? What are the practice to do that? Define the setup, the testing logic, and then your assertions, and what are the most common method that we use, or these greatest hits, right? And why, when we are actually writing our test, what actually we are testing, right? That's why we have concept like that. We need to be familiar with the concept of referential equality and value equality, right? So that's why we have methods like to be equal, to contain, to match object, to be close for floating points. Expect any, expect object containing, expect array containing, right? So with that, all right, then we look at how can we do that, and how can we write our tests using especially vtests. And with vtests is this next front-end generation tools that allows to easily migrate JS to this environment, because now this environment is using ES6, is compatible with ES6, because behind the scene is using ESBuild, which is this build tool and model bundler that is reading in Go, making HMR and a fast build possible. We can now is setting up or handling is browser environments, browser-like environments. So for example, like a playground and that kind of thing. It of course improve the error reporting, and they have a very flexible configuration. So we also look at, for example, what are the common patterns and tips when writing your synchronous tests, asynchronous tests, how you can do that, what are the things that we can get out of that. And when it comes now to go to the next step on setting up the basis of your maintainability maintainability of your code. The other is the CI/CD process, which is the way of how you can now integrate this code, these changes to the code base over a large, with a huge amount of collaborators in large teams, where the idea here is that with any time you want to integrate code based on a plan, based on a design that everybody agreed upon that, right? Then you implement the code, you integrate to the to your repo And once you do that, well, now it is time to see that actually won't break the application by running the build and the tests on those changes. If everything went well, then generate this artifact that they will be used now as the continuous deployment, which is by putting it on a staging environment, which is quite close to production. This is when you're starting to have a database close to production, run some tests, and if everything went well, all right, now release that to production. And that's not the end, because then you need to actually operate on that, get feedback from the users, and continuous monitoring that. So this particular process, which is something that we're going to do a lot of the time anytime we are integrating code, okay? This is something that, for example, a lot of company out there, GitLab, GitHub, Cloudflare, they provide that. So the most popular is now GitHub, okay? And now GitHub allows to define this particular workflows using something known as GitHub Actions. So these GitHub Actions are exclusively for GitHub, where you can define these workflows by defining it's a series of jobs that will run in parallel by default, and then you can reuse some of those workflows in your different applications, right? So the anatomy of this workflow is that you're going to this workflow will be triggered when a event is detected, whether it is a list of events provided by GitHub by your repo, or a schedule that you made. Say you want to schedule a particular job to run, okay, or posting to a REST API as a way to trigger a webhook outside of GitHub Actions. So some of the time, for example, using is a Stripe, right? So with that, the idea is that by defining this event, or by understanding this event, that will trigger now jobs, which is a series of steps executed in a runner. These two keywords, steps and runner. So steps are bash scripts or actions, which actions is this custom application, custom GitHub Actions for complex and recurring monotonous tasks. So for example, pull a repo for your server or into your runner, and this runner is this virtual machines that GitHub provide to you to per job, and it can be Ubuntu, a Mac, or Windows. This is something useful, especially if you want to build your mobile applications. Okay, so when you have now virtual machines that actually by setting up, for example, a tool change for your to build your environment. So in the case of React Native applications, when you want to generate an app for iOS, right? How you can now use some of this runner from macOS and use some of these actions as a way to define all of these build tools, this tool chain for your build environment that you need. Not only the macOS, you need to also install is Xcode and also Cocoa, Ruby, and you need to also now set up the React, the Node ecosystems, as well as the React dependency. You need to install all the necessary dependency for your projects, as well as for the React dependency, So all of this series of steps is something that now these custom actions allow you to do, as well as the setting up a authentication, setting up an authentication with cloud providers, Azure, AWS, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, right? So, because these steps run one sequentially, now that we look at the anatomy of the workflow, I also saw how can we actually create those workflows, right? And one of the use case of those workflows is that, for example, you have a GitHub action, if you have a SASE and an open source code, you want to sometimes push when you want to bump up the npm version, when you want to bump up the npm version in a PR, that will automatically bump up the npm version in the cloud. So what happens is that you don't have to merge, which means that you don't need to do what is something that you have to do back in the old days, which is create a PR with those changes and then merge that to main, and then now go and do a npm publish. And if you need to actually, for example, roll back those changes for those updates, then you need to create a new PR for those updates, merge to brain, make the PM publish, or run the npm publish. So you get the idea. And another benefit is that we can run or building and testing your app on PR. Okay, so building and testing pull requests, deploying your application deploying your application to production when a release is created, a release tag, or creating labels when an issue is created. So these specific things that now GitHub Actions allows to do, okay? If you can go outside of that, that's up to you. You are free to choose your own adventures. But in this particular case, I will actually go with this. So, alright. It's like, makes sense. Makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense. Yep, completely. Totally. So, so we look at how can we create this GitHub workflows. We have now a more hands-on approach. We also look at how can we protect our branch by also following this settings, and how most of the time we want to protect our branch, for example, to actually check that we run the build and the tests before merging into that, and also require status check before pass and approvals. This is getting more into the topic of the process, right? If you remember the pyramid of Maslow, but because you, let's say, the owner, so companies with a dozen or a relevant size, decent size, they need to actually, they're not gonna hand over your keys to run that car. So that's why now all of them are following or are complying to SOC, which SOC 2 is a fancy way to say, hey, whoever is running these applications and collaborating in this application, can we trust of what they're doing, that they are not harm customers? That's one of them. There's a lot of lobbying there, but in any case, and the other is how secure are their systems. That's why I make this sideways. You know, it's like before. Right now we use something called the zero trust IT security model, right? Okay. So this zero trust security model. So what is a zero trust security model? Which is this zero trust network access, but the implementing is this particularly that, or zero trust. They actually explaining is that how you can implement that zero security trust. All right, and I think this is something good as a way to understand how now security is important for a company and for yourself as well. So zero trust. Okay, where they describe that, but they don't actually put some. Okay, the history of zero trust by analyst and Forrester Research Inc. I think it's important. SASE, what? It's an architectural model that converges network connectivity with network security function. SASE. Okay. So, because we need to talk about is the history. So first is, what is this zero trust security, right? It's a model security that requires strict identity verification for every person and every device trying to access on a private network, regardless of where they are sitting within or outside of the network perimeter. Okay. So regardless who you are, we need to verify who are you. Okay, you say that you are the CEO, you say that you are the CEO, the CTO, software engineer, the maintenance. We need to verify who are you, right? So CTNNA is the main technology associated with zero trust security, with zero trust architecture. But zero trust is an holistic approach to network security that incorporates several different principles and technology. More simply put, traditional IT security trusts anyone and anything inside the network. Exactly. A zero trust architecture trusts no one and nothing. And this has become more true than ever, because most of the time by culture. So employed with now very specific knowledge, where they can now provide value and solve problems to the company, they come with different backgrounds. And most of the time they're not aligned with the cultural values of the company. So that's why now they have this zero trust policy. So the zero trust policy is doing that. It's like, regardless who you are, we want to verify that you say regardless who you are and the role you have in the company or in the network, we want to verify that what you say is what you say is really what you are. Now, because traditionally security models is that they trust whoever is inside of the organization. That's known as the castle and moat. All right. So that's why they define these particular techniques or technologies around the castle, okay, to protect themselves from other influences, from external threats, with firewalls and identity intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention systems. But once the attacker crossed the mouth, this is helpless. So they can steal credentials, inject malwares, perform some social security attacks, or exploit system vulnerabilities. So now this model, okay, now this model and a way of security here. So now this model, where their main principles, and I want to write this down. So now this model, where their main principles are continuous monitoring and validation, principle of least privilege, device monitoring. Whoever is getting access to these systems, whoever is getting access to computer system or business assets, we need to verify them. Microsegmentation is by making all of this network small as possible. They reduce this surface attack. They reduce is this lateral movement, and they're spread across that, which is something that happens when you don't put validations across all of these different systems. And the way to now enforce these security measures or to authenticate that particular user, now distinct from an attacker, is to say, let's go to implement out this multi-factor authentication, which is there are several principles here. Okay, there are several principles here. Okay, or there are several factors to authenticate a user's to get access to system resource, right? So software application and network, right? So these authentication factors are knowledge, possession, and inherent qualities. So knowledge is that the user is something that the user knows, whether it's a password, whether it's a password, a passphrase, okay, something that the user possesses, some sort of credential, okay, something something the user has, some sort of credential, personal data, biometrics, and this is when things get it to be really scary. But most of the time is credentials, right? Biometric data, that kind of thing. And inherent qualities is that something the user is. What is the role of you in this company? So with this, right? So with this, that's one of these particular factors that serve as a way to now use these particular authentication methods. So whether it is time-based authentication or token-based or single sign-on, okay, which is what we are going to talk about in today's video, right? So we talk about here multi-factor here. Exactly. Okay, so we're talking about multi-factor authentication here. But also, I want to know is the history of this security model, right? Which is something that is to get where. How do we get here? It's just like that. It's that how do we get here? How do we get here? The term zero trust was coined by an analyst in Forrester Research in 2010. Forrester Research. Okay. Forrester helps organization grow through customer. Massachusetts, Cambridge. Interesting. Okay. Prediction 2025. Hard-won inside drive growth. Okay. Forrester. APAC as Asia Pacific, Europe, and North America. Holy hell, man! Man, Latam doesn't exist, bro. Latam doesn't exist, bro. Latam doesn't exist. Oh shit, nigga. Latam doesn't exist, bro. Latam doesn't exist, bro. Poof. Latam doesn't exist. Jesus, French toast guy, man. Latam doesn't exist. Latam doesn't exist, man. Oh my god. That's shit. And I get it. I totally get it, man. It's like fuck. Oh man, I didn't ask for this. As one of my favorite character actually talk about, right? From Deus Ex, Adam Jensen, right? I never asked for this. Not at all. Yeah. Okay. So this, as the name suggests, is trust no one externally or internally. It indicates how and when users are allowed to access system data. Right. So this term was coined by. Okay. So this term was coined by. How do I put it? Yeah, so this term was coined by okay. All right. Yeah, so this term was coined by a consultant, by analysts at Forrester, by an analyst at Forrester Research Inc. Forrester Research Inc. in 2010. When the model for the concept was first presented. A few years later, Google announced that they have implemented zero trust security in their network. So I want to now open up here Forrester. That's quite interesting. Forrester Research. All right, Forrester Research. This one. Forrester Research.
I am Kathleen de Bond, VP Marketing EMEA, working for Veeam. Veeam is the #1 market leader in data protection and ransomware recovery. We have 450,000 customers worldwide, of which 73% of the Global 2000. Our mission is to help customers not only to bounce back Global 2000 ransomware recovery.
That's not good.
We have 450,000 customers worldwide.
We have 450,000 customers worldwide.
Of which 73% of the Global 2000.
The global 2000. I think this is an index. Forbes. Okay. It's a ranking. Oh crap. Oh man, Forbes Global 2000 is a ranking of 2,000 private companies. Let me actually say this in English. Published by Self-Profit Assets and Market Value. At 2023, they say JP Morgan, but here you have now this in 2022, and this is 2023. Okay, so JP Morgan, highest ranking company. Damn, son. And again, it's because organization, it's because finance, research administration. And if you're very good at that, of course, people will come to you and ask for stuff, and they can say, China, ICBC, banks, bro, banks. Then you got Toyota. That's quite interesting. Shell, British, Total Energies, and Volkswagen Group. Samsung Electronic. God damn, Samsung Electronics on 7. What does it mean is the companies? Shell, Royal Bank, Shell. Oh, let's make okay like this. Total Energies. It's a French multinational energy and petroleum company. Volkswagen Group, Samsung Electronic, Royal Bank of Canada. But you know what is the funny thing of all of this is that is banks, all right, energy, banks, energy, and other banks, and most of from this top 10, all right, 1, 2, 3 out of it means that a third of these richest companies is based on administration. That's where the value is, administration. And then you have now energy, 1, 2, 2 out of 10 are now on energy. But that can give you a sense of that resource administrations is paramount. Is paramount. Is what we found as human value. All right, this list of for Global 2000. Okay, Global 2000. China Mobile, Nestle, BHP, Eni, Stellantis, Volvo, Petrobras, Accenture, Inter, okay, Ireland, Santander, Saudi Aramco, PTT, what the hell? Public Company Limited. Oh, Petroleum, First Abu Dhabi Bank, Overseas Chinese Banking, American Mobile, First Rand. Interesting. Bank of Leumi. Oh crap. Most of it from the 20 in the top 20 you have now this is for IT consulting. Volvo, Stellantis. Stellantis is an IT manufacturing automotive. Okay. BHP, China Mobile. All right. Okay. Most of those companies are from the energy. Mercado Libre is from Uruguay. That's bullshit, man. But in any case, man, that's bullshit. Even Mercado Libre here is in Uruguay. That still use something. Ecopetrol. Well, in Chile, okay. A Chile-based company engaged in investment in companies in the industrial and financial sectors. Oh, okay. Again, in the financial sector, banking, holding company. Damn, son. Andronico Luxic Avaroa. Oh, he died? Oh, come on. A Chilean. Damn, son, man. Oh my god, damn, son. This is the first time I hear about him. Antofagasta. Damn, son. Damn, son. God, oof. Damn, son, man. Damn, son, man. Now, oh my god, we're talking about the real owners, man. Oh, okay. Jesus. Look, Sick Foundation. Jesus fucking Christ. Son. Oh my God. Jesus. Oh, free. Oh, You need to learn a lot, bro. Earlier, you need to learn a lot. Oh my God. Oh, I don't know nothing, man. I don't know nothing. Okay. Okay. Oh, shit. Jesus. Is this for business? God damn. Oh my God. Oh yes. Luxic was born in Antofagasta to a Bolivian mother, Elena Avaroa Cordova, grandchild of Bolivian War of the Pacific hero Eduardo Avaroa, and a Croatian immigrant father, Policar Luxic Ludbetic, who has arrived in Chile from the Adriatic island of Brac. God damn it! In 1910, and had made a living in the nitrate industry. Holy crap! Brac, from Croatia, in 1910. Oh my Jesus. Was a Bolivian foremost hero of the War of the Pacific, which pitted Chile against Bolivia and Peru. He was one of the leaders of the civilian resistance of the Chilean invasion at the Battle of Topatera. Occupation engineer. What? Rendirme yo, que se rinda su abuela, carajo. Surrender. Your Your grandmother should surrender it. You bastard. Anyway, oh my God. Oh, come on. Go back. This is a quick rabbit hole that we're gonna get in. No, not interesting too. Not at all. I mean, interesting that now companies, in this particular case, is something like that, and that this is the Global 2000 by Force, which is the annual ranking of the top 2,000 public companies. All right, it's an annual rank for the 2,000 public company in the world, based on sales, profit, assets, and market value. Sales, interesting. Sales profits. Oh my God, sales, profit, assets, and market value. Jesus. Okay.
Our mission is to help customers not only to bounce back from a data outage or a data loss, but also to bounce forward. So the way Forrester supports me in my marketing initiatives is when I need to reach out or work together with my broader stakeholders. Is it sales? Is it system engineering? Is it finance or sales operation? It makes it easier for me to have a plan on the page or certain things that I implement based on what I do together with Forrester. It is a real help to connect with your stakeholders. The plan on the page for me is that one paper or that one page where I create together with my leadership team, so we're all behind it, and then it is being communicated and it is being shared with the rest of the marketing team. And the rest of the marketing team is not only the EMEA marketing team, but is also the global marketing team. Everybody knows what the marketing for EMEA is and what we stand for. It is not just for internal marketing, but it is also for our stakeholders. All the functions from sales, from enablement, from operations, from finance, all the functions need to know what marketing stands for so that they know what our real focus areas are. The plan on the page actually stipulates what we are and what we are going to do in the following year. It represents actually what does marketing stand for in that given year. For me, the most impactful is the way I interact with the people at Forrester, the way they support me, the way they get me in contact with other colleagues so that I can speak openly and compare what is out there in the market. They are a connection point for me with the broader world of marketing and also how do we do things in marketing today.
VP of Marketing. Okay, VP of Marketing. It's all about marketing. That's interesting. Forrester. Help business and technology leaders use customer obsession to accelerate growth. Oh my God, copyrighted. Copyrighted. With us. So you're an IT company. You're an IT consultant. IT consultant. IT consultant. IT consultant. IT consult. All right. So the coin of zero trust policy was coined by an analyst at Forrester Research, which is an IT consulting company that has more than 450,000 customers, where roughly 75% of them are part of the Global 2000. This global annual rank of public companies in the world. Exactly. This rank of global, this ranking of top 2000. Damn, son, it's a ranking better than across the world. Oh my God. This annual ranking of 2000 public companies in the world by sales, assets, profits, and market share. Sales, assets, profits, and market share. Damn, son. And the first 10 of them, 3 of 10 are in the finance system and in the banking system. Oh crap, man. Okay. All right. Okay. Jesus. Oh, for fuck Christ, man. Okay. Okay, this is now a little bit of history. A few years later, Google announced that they have implemented zero trust security in their network, which leads to a growing interest in adoption with the tech community. In 2019, Gartner, a global research and an advisory firm, listed Zero Trust security as a core component of security access service edge. Okay, so they have, so you have now researchers here. Okay, this term was coined by analysts at Forrester Research in 2010. A couple years later, Google announced that have implemented zero trust model in their system. And in 2019, I know a year after, or a year before the pandemic, in 2019, Gartner, a global research and advisory, exactly. So Gartner, a global research and advisory firm, listed Zero Trust security as a core component. Listed Zero Trust security as a core component. Of secure access service edge solution. As secure access service edge, or known as SASE. SASE. Secure access service. Okay. So what is SASE? Secure Access Service Edge, or SASE. Pronounced SASE is an architectural model that converges network connectivity with network security functions and delivers them through a single cloud platform or centralized policy controls. Network connectivity and zero trust with network security functions. As organizations increasingly migrate applications and data to the cloud, it has become more complex and risky to manage network security. With a traditional castle and moat approach, unlike the traditional networking approach, SaaS unifies security and networking onto one cloud platform and one control plane for consistency, visibility, controls, and experience from any user to any application. In this way, SaaS created a new unified corporate network based on cloud service run on the internet, allowing organizations to transition away from many architectural layer and point solutions. So office users, data centers, remote external users, so they all are centralized on the cloud, and they have now their zero trust security model with their network resource and network connectivity. Internet and SaaS apps, branch and cloud locations, private and self-host apps. How does SaaS compare to traditional networking? In traditional networking model, data and application live in a core data center. To access those resource users, branch office and application connect to a data center from within a localized private network or a secondary network, which typically connects to the primary one through a secure lease line or VPN. However, this model is ill-equipped to handle the complexity introduced by a new cloud-based service and the rise of distributed workflows. But this is the two challenges here. The rise of distributed workforces, because now we are much more effective at a distance. That's what happened. And the new cloud-based services. So instead of actually it is impractical, for example, to reroute all traffic through a centralized data center if an organization hosts SaaS application and data in the cloud. It's impractical to redirect all the traffic or reroute all the traffic to a centralized data center if an organization hosts SaaS application and data in the cloud, especially if now the workforce is distributed in different locations, okay? And now with this convenient solution, with this convenient cloud solutions, which makes then, hey, let's make now to these remote workers, the remote workforce, the distributed workforce, now can have access to a resource, but closer to their locations. By contrast, SaaS play network controls on the cloud edge. So not the corporate data center. So instead of layering servers that require separate configurations and management, SaaS converges network and security servers using one control panel. It implements identity-based security trust policy on the edge network. So on each one of those edge network, which is are close to the workflow, where they can work with, instead of actually going directly to the central data store, which allow enterprise to expand network across to any remote users, branch office, and device or applications. So it means that this, because you like it or not, this kind of companies that now remote culture, So because now we have become more effective, so because now the workforce has become more effective at a distance, so they can go way too, so instead of actually now talk directly to the data centers or redirect all the the traffic to the data centers, which can be very, very far away, all right? So instead of actually you talking to a data center and then do the thing that you need to do, with the rise of this distributed workforce and the cloud service, enterprise now, instead of actually redirecting all of the traffic to their data centers, now they are combining is security models with network access. Network and security service by using is one control plane, but in close to the workforce. If you ask yourself, this is also that it's going to be replicated by individuals as well, because we are becoming much more effective at a distance when we need to offer a solution, when we need to now solve problems in the digital landscape. That's one of the reasons why I choose to be part of this workforce, of this remote culture of workforce, because not only that I recognize that the most important asset is my time, but then I can allocate that in a much effective and efficient way to actually is figuring out how do we get here. And what is life and that kind of thing, right? While you are being functional, while you are someone functional to the community, to the economy, to the market. Jesus. Okay, so SaaS is now combining the network and security service. So SaaS places network controls on the cloud edge, not the corporate data centers. On the cloud edge. And on the cloud edge is those that are now an edge computing, centralized application running close to user, either on the device itself or on the network edge. So the idea here is that it reduces latency. But also they need to communicate to, that data they need to communicate to the central store. Even though it is funny because now they are realizing how important it is to have this distributed system to actually, of course, now coordinate data to a central where the whole point of this is that we can be much more effective at solving our own problems. This won't go away, bro. And they're gonna look is for people, and they're gonna look for people that actually can provide that at a distance. And now we have what are the drawbacks of edge computing is that it can increase attack vectors with the addition of more smart devices into the mix, such as edge servers and IoT devices that has robust built-in computer. There are new opportunities for malicious attackers to compromise this device. Another drawback is edge computing is that it requires more local hardware. For example, while an IoT camera needs a built-in computer to send its raw video data to a web server, it will require a much more sophisticated computer with more processing power in order to run its own motion detection algorithm. But the dropping costs of hardware are making it cheaper, exactly, because now hardware is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, similar with memory most of the time, to build smarter device. One way to completely mitigate the need of extra hardware is to take advantage of the edge servers. For example, with Cloudflare network marketing. You know what? One of the problems here is that you can make use of this for that. Cloudflare customers can have edge code running worldwide using Cloudflare workers. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. And edge computing is a network philosophy focused on bringing computing as close to the source of data as possible in order to reduce latency and bandwidth. In simple terms, edge computing means running fewer processes in the cloud and moving those processes to local place, such as on user computer, an IoT device on edge server. Bringing computation to the network edge minimizes the amount of long-distance communication that has to happen between the client and the server, especially for companies here. So what it's doing is now bringing computing as close to the source of data in order to reduce latency. In simple terms, edge computer means running fewer processes in the cloud and moving those processes to local place. Is now moving those computational tasks closer to the user's computer. So this is what SASE it is. Okay, SASE. SASE. So SASE, okay, it's an architectural model. This is for network administrators. Okay. Yeah, network administrators, man. In traditional network, okay. SaaS platform combine network and service, network as a service capability with a number of security functions managed from one interface and delivered from one control plane. Network as a service. Everything now is a service. Oh my God. This service include network service that simplify connectivity, security service, operational service, and a policy engine. What are the technology components of a SASE platform? Zero Trust Network Access, Security Web Gate, Secure Web Gateway, Cloud Access Security Broker, Cloud Access Security Broker, Software Defined WAN, and Next-Generation Firewall. Firewall as a service. Oh my God! So everything now will be a service. Cloud email security, web application and API protection, DNS security. Okay. Reduce risk through zero trust principle and reduce cost through platform consolidation. Reduce risk through zero trust principle. Reduce cost through platform consideration, operational efficiency and agility, and improve user experience for hybrid work. What are common SaaS use cases? Augmenting or replacing VPN for modernized secure access. One common driver for moving to a SaaS architecture is to improve resource access and connectivity. Routing and processing network traffic across a global cloud network as close to the user as possible instead of through VPNs. Reduce end user friction while eliminating the risk of lateral movement. Simplify contractors, third-party access. And this is something that is going to happen a lot because they find out that this is something that they need to. Threat defense for distributed office and remote workers. Data protection for regulatory complaints and simplify branch connectivity. How are SaaS and SSA security device edge different? But this is okay. This is now network as a service. Jesus. Network as a service. Where are the technology components of SaaS? Okay. So what are the capabilities of SaaS deliver? SaaS platform combine network as a service, which combines the network connectivity and zero trust policy into a service, which is an architectural model that converts network connectivity and network security. SaaS create a new unified corporate network based on cloud service run over the internet. So this SaaS, okay. We look at this because the the zero trust security model, okay, the zero trust security model in which now organizations actually focus as a way to secure their IT assets, business assets. Okay, so not only they have to comply with some policies, regulatories and the kind of things, for example with SOC, but also they need to also protect their assets. So this is the two sides of the same coin, right? Compliance and security. And for security, we look at the zero trust model, which this term was coined by. Okay. Where this term was coined by an analyst at Forrester Research Inc. In 2010, which is a company, is an IT consulting and research firm that has more than 450,000 companies, where 75% roughly of them are now part of the Global 2000. This global rank global rank for Forbes about the 2,000 companies. So this fourth rank from the 2,000 companies, from the 2,000 global companies, based on their sales, profits, market shares, and share profits, assets, and market share. Based on their profit, based on the revenue, profits, assets, and market share. So this analyst come up with this model, and then Google implement that a couple of years later, and garner this these global research and advisory firms list the zero trust security as the core component of the SASE, Secure Access Service Edge, which is now a combination of service as it's a combination of SaaS, which what delivered exactly? What's delivered then? What does SaaS compare to traditional networking? Okay. SaaS. So what is SaaS? SASE. They call that. And that funny name, SASE. SASE. Okay. So what's SASE, right? It's a combination. It's an architecture model. It's a way of building things. So it's an architecture. Is an architecture model, okay, that combines network access and network connectivity and security. Okay, network connectivity with network security. Okay. Why? Because now okay. Exactly. Because now with the compelling cloud-based solutions, because now with the compelling cloud-based service, in terms of because now with the compelling cost of cloud-based service, and the rise of distributed workforce, since they can be much more effective at a distance. They can be much more effective at a distance. SASE place network control on the cloud edge, not corporate data centers. So instead of layering service that require separating configuration and management, SASE converge network and security service using one control plane. It implements identity-based security trust policy. On the edge network. So it implement zero trust security on the edge, right? On the edge network. So SaaS platform combine network as a service capability with a number of security functions. So SaaS platforms combine network as a SaaS platform combines network as a service. Holy crap. Okay. Network as a service. Okay, network as a service by implementing technologies like zero trust network access, secure web gateway, okay, cloud access security broker, cloud access security broker, interesting, or known as CASP, software defined WAN. Is a SaaS architecture organization adopted either the SD-WAN or WAN-as-a-Service to connect and scale operations, office, retail, store, and data centers. WAN-as-a-Service, because this is network here. Oh, crap. Okay, software defined WAN. Why are the network? Or WAN as a service, or WAN as a service. As a service. Everything is a service, bro. Oh my god. WAN as a service. Next generation firewall. Next-gen firewall. Okay, I think this is something much like relevant to zero trust model. Okay. holy man. So this is an architectural model. This is a way how you can build now network connectivity and network security. So you combine this. Why is this? Because now cloud service has because now with the compelling cost of cloud service and the rise of distributed workforce, which now they can become much more effective at a distance. So this SASE, it implements now zero security. Exactly. So now SaaS, it implements is the zero trust policy model on edge networks, on devices or on computers close to the end users, where they now have in their implement that is this security policies. So SaaS platforms combine is the network as a service implementing this kind of technology in those edge. So such as zero trust policy, zero trust network access, secure web gateway, cloud access security broker, software defined WAN, and WAN-as-a-Service. WAN-as-a-Service is like, hey, this software will be now being used in this IPs. Damn son. And Nextgen Firewall. Holy moly, bro. That'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.